Hello everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. Today I'm going to be sharing quite a bit of inspiration with you using the Simon Says STAMPtember exclusive kit. This kit is called Boho Party and it features so many fun and adorable products, some of which I actually designed, and I can't wait to share with you my ideas on how you can use these products. If you like this kit, this is a limited edition kit, so you do want to grab it while you can. It's not part of Simon's monthly subscription, so it's a kit you would purchase outside of the subscription if you have it. So let's start off with some ideas on what you can do with this kit. This is the card we're going to start off with first, and we're going to make a repeating stamped background that is really fun and colorful, and the colors are inspired by the colors that are in the kit. So I have the Boho Party stamp set that I designed for the kit here, and we're going to use this burst pattern. I'm going to stamp the burst first with melon in the center of my card. This is the main burst, and everything else around it is going to be just kind of a supporting element. Next, I'm going to line this up on the side of my card, and we're going to stamp this with a dark teal. I'm using again ink from Simon Says Stamp. It's a really nice, beautiful dark teal color. And I'm going to stamp this burst on either side of the melon starburst. And then finally, in the four corners, we're going to use sherbet and we're going to stamp that burst in those four corners. This is going to create a really fun and bold background. It's a great way to be able to use shaped stamps that you have in different stamp sets to create a repeating design. There are a bunch of different birthday and celebratory sentiments in the stamp set, and I'm going to use this one that says happy birthday. I did stamp that with the same again ink that I used in my background. And I'm going to use the coordinating dies to cut the sentiments out. The coordinating dies don't come with the kit, they come as a side element, so you could add that to your card if you're purchasing the kit. It's really helpful for cutting out so many of the different elements that are in the stamp set. So I have these really cute little enamel flower stickers that I'm attaching onto my card in the little areas that are left behind between the bursts. My sentiment's going to go on top of that burst in the center, which looks really cool, having all of those little burst rays coming out from behind the greeting. And then I also pulled in these really cute little gem stickers from Honeybee Stamps to put onto the centers of my flowers. The flower stickers come with the kit, but the gem stickers do not. I just pulled those out of my stash. On the back side of my panel, I'm just going to put a piece of foam sheet from Simon Says Stamp. This is going to give me some nice dimension off of my card base, which I made from some light pink cardstock. And that's going to complete card number 1. It's a really simple and easy card. You could totally change up the colors here for a different color scheme, and this design would be really useful for any type of birthday card. All right, here we go on to card number 2. There's a border image that I've included in this stamp set that creates these fun little florals. It's great for adding borders onto your cards. So I'm going to actually stamp this 4 times with melon ink onto white cardstock. My plan is that I'm going to create a frame with these flowers. So I want to have 4 to cover all 4 sides of my card, and I'm going to use the coordinating dies to cut each of these out. I'll hold that die in place with some very, very low tack tape so it doesn't shift, and that way my die cut will be perfect across the flower chain. Now, because I'm attaching this onto an A2 card, this covers the whole width of an A2 card, so I actually need to trim these down a little bit so that way I can fit them in a frame shape. So all you need to do is just take your scissors and cut off that last floral on each of your chains. This will allow the florals then to nest perfectly inside of each other on top of an A2 card, and it makes it a really cute frame. I have some pattern paper here that's included in the kit, and I'm going to use a glue stick to glue this paper onto my card base. This is an A2 card, and I'm going to cover the entire thing with this really nice dark teal pattern paper. The fun floral design is going to go really well with the floral chain that we're adding on top, and I just used some thin 3D foam squares from Simon Says Stamp to attach these. When I'm attaching the chains, I did not push them down all the way, so that way if I had to shift things a little bit in the final placement, I easily could. But that's going to give me this really cute little border of flowers that I can now have framing up my sentiment. The sentiment that I'm using is actually from the pattern paper. There's some really cute little patterned card fronts on some of these sheets, and so I'm going to actually use this one here that says good vibes and actually cut the sentiment out so that way I could still see my beautiful teal color around it. and I just glued that down right in the center of my card with some foam tape. Not part of the kit, but also another good staple are some Rainbow Splash gem stickers. These have some great colors that matched well with the kit, and I used the pink and the yellow gems in both sizes to add some decoration to my pieces. So I used the yellow for the flower centers, and then the pink ones I used on the little flower chains, which I think looks so cute. So this card also was really quick and simple to put together, and it has such a fun and colorful vibe to it. This would be a card for any occasion. Back to birthdays, I'm going to start stamping some fun balloons that are part of the kit. This one here is the smiley balloon, and I'm going to stamp it first with some yellow ink. But because I wanted to give these balloons some dimension, I am going to shade them with my blending brushes. I do this often, I've shown this in many other videos, but basically you take your darker ink and then a blending brush, and you're going to add some shading to a portion of the stamp and then stamp it back down over top of your original stamping. That gives you a really nice bit of shading and gives this stamped image some dimension. Since you're not coloring with traditional like markers or pencils, you're not getting that shading if you just stamp with a solid layer. But if you add that shading with your ink pads and blending brushes, it gives you some dimension to those images, which is, I think, a lot of fun. So I used some sunshine and citrine for the smiley balloon. I used cheeky and blush for this flower. And then for this solid balloon, I used morning and also galaxy. Off camera, I did also stamp a few more balloons, and I used the same colors as well as tide pool and Aegean. With the coordinating dies, I'm going to cut all of my balloons out. There are also some strings that you can use to attach to your balloons, and there's also dies for that too. But I thought it would be fun to actually use real string to attach my balloons to my cards. So I've pulled out some silver thread here, and we're going to glue that to the back side of our balloons and then attach the balloons onto our card panel. This card panel is a little smaller than an A2 card, and I'm just using my foam squares, which is what's attaching the balloons onto the card, to hold the string as well. So I just lay the string down first, put the foam square on top, and then attach my balloon to the card. It's really simple and it saves on adhesive. So I attached all my balloons and then folded the strings to the back side of my card and then just held them in place with some tape. And now I'm going to work on figuring out where I want to add some extra stamping around my greeting. I have these little star patterns that I'm going to stamp down with some black ink. These little stars will look cute around the balloons and also the greeting. For some of them, I did want to have only a single star, so I just masked off the second one that's on that stamp, inked up the stamp, and then removed the mask before stamping it down onto my project. And that gives me now a single instead of a double. For my greeting, I just used that Celebrate sentiment that's part of the Boho Party kit. I stamped it with sherbet ink, and then I put that down on top of my card. There are so many fun pattern papers in this kit. This one that has good vibes on it, I thought would be the perfect backdrop for my balloons. Now the good vibes you're actually not going to see because I made sure that my card panel was a little bit larger than the sentiment. So that way it'll cover it all up and all you're going to see is that fun, wavy, colorful background, which of course because we matched our ink colors to the kit, we have coordinating colors here on this card that look beautiful. So this card is actually a tad larger than an A2 card. It's 4.5 by 5 3/4, just so I could get more of that color of that pattern paper showing. So I went a tad larger, but I think this is such a fun, bright and happy card, and it's a great way to use the stamps in the stamp set. Let's take a break from stamping and do some stenciling. There are some tags included in the kit, and I don't know about you, but I always can use a tag for a birthday gift. So I thought I would make some rainbow tags using the Boho rainbow stencil that's part of the kit. This is another piece that I designed for the kit. I designed the stamp set, stencils, and the 2 standalone dies that are part of the kit as well. So I want to make these tags and actually do multiples at the same time. So what I'm doing is I'm just repeating the stenciling from one tag to the next. So I'm starting with the first layer of the little rainbow stripes. I colored those up with 2 different colors of ink, and then I'm going to bring in the second layer that colors in between those 2 stripes, and I'll start ink blending the next 2 colors. I'm using the coloring example on the stencil packaging as a guide for picking out my colors. When I designed this, I had this in mind, and I think this is such a really fun and bright and happy color palette. It's a little different than the traditional rainbow, which I think is fun. So I just keep switching the stencils from one tag to the next, and that way I don't have to clean stencils in between. This is such an easy way to make multiples. I always make sure to mask off the side of the stencil, which will also help hold it in place, but I also have some tape on the back side of the tag that's also holding the stencils too. Finally, this little pattern layer goes over top of your stenciling that you've already done for the rainbow stripes, and it adds a little pattern, which is a really great way to jazz up your stenciling and also continue the bohemian vibe we have going here with all of these products. I have all the colors of inks and all the other products that I'm using today listed below in the video description, so if you're curious about anything, you can find it all there. But check it out, we've got multiple tags here now, and you could keep going and make tons more. I just made 2 for now. I also added some pattern paper below the rainbow with some of the pattern paper that's in the kit. And then with a border die that I had in my stash, I just cut this nice little scallop so that way I could attach this along the top of the pattern paper. And for a little bit of enhancement around the rainbow, I did bring in one of those star patterns from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp those in yellow around the rainbow. This adds a nice little sparkle, which I think is fun, and also fills in that left side of the tag. I'm repeating the same process for all of my tags, which is making the whole entire process a lot easier and faster. You can make a whole bunch of these in no time at all. I did stamp the Celebrate sentiment that we used earlier onto some white cardstock with again ink, and I cut those out and put them on top of my tags. And the tags do come with twine, so I just used that twine from the kit to go ahead and put on top of my tags. Quick, simple, but oh so adorable, and you could use these tags for so many different birthday gifts. I would definitely encourage you to make more than one because it's nice to be able to have tags on hand when you have a birthday coming around. All right, we're hitting the home stretch. One more card to share, and I hope you're enjoying all the inspiration I've shared so far. Now we're going to do a bit more stamping. I designed this bus as part of the stamp set, and I just love it. I couldn't wait to color it in. There's some banners and a party hat as well that I stamped down from the stamp set. And I'm going to color these with Copic markers. I'm not going to show you the coloring process because this video is already long anyway, but I just used some simple Copic marker colors to color everything in. I used colors from the kit to inspire which ones I picked. I cut these out with the coordinating dies, and then I'm going to set those aside while I work on making a background that these can sit on. My background is going to be very simple. I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending on the bottom of my panel here, and I'm going to bring that color up to about the middle area of the card panel. This card panel is a little bit smaller than an A2 card. Here's that floral border we used earlier. I'm going to use that to go ahead and stamp along the bottom of my card with the same ink that I used for the background, which was melon. So that gives me some tone-on-tone stamping that looks really nice and also grounds the bust that we're going to add on top. So I attached the bust with some foam tape, and then I'm going to start adding my other elements. I added the party hat on top of the bust, and then with some liquid glue, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back side of the banners and attach those down onto my card panel. So the bust is a little bit more elevated than the banners, which gives the whole scene some dimension. And I'll just trim off the excess on the sides of the cards, that way everything is nice and flush. As I've done for many of the other projects in this video, I'm going to add some of those little star elements. I stamped these with citrine ink. It's a nice yellow color and looks good on top of the melon that we added for the background. I stamped those a few times around the bus, and then a greeting I picked out. It says hip hip hooray, and I stamped that in sherbet ink and added that on top of my card with foam tape. I always love to embellish things whenever possible, so I pulled in more of those honeybee gem stickers I used earlier, and I'm going to line my party hat with the white ones. I think this is so much fun and adds a little bit of unexpected touch to the party hat. And then to add some gloss to the bust, I'm going to use some glossy accents on some of the decorative elements, including the lights and the heart. I put this onto a Nina Desert Storm card base, and that's going to complete this card as well. So there you have it, lots of inspiration using this STAMPtember kit from Simon Says Stamp. It's a limited edition kit, and I'm really excited about it because I had so much fun designing many of the products that are included. I hope you enjoyed seeing these ideas. If you enjoyed, please give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I have links below to everything if you're curious. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will be back soon to share more with you all.